All right, we're back. Both of us, me and Bhargav, are big Manchester United fans. That's why I've been hiding since Wednesday night. For me, he lives in Toronto, so he's been hiding since Wednesday afternoon. We have finally decided to come out because there's a time that you need to come out, and we have to stop believing in Solskjaer's lies. Maybe next time, but next time you can't say there's an improvement because there can't be an improvement unless you win something. Now that you already lost in the final, you came second. All right, so let's talk about another delusion. This delusion is that everybody, at least all the punters, all the betting odd teams, they think that England is the favorite to win Euro 2020, which is not even happening in 2020. But that's how the nomenclature problem has been happening because COVID-19 is happening right now. It's 2021 already. So those kind of problems human beings are facing. So the bookies think they are favorites. I don't think they're favorites. Do we have the graphic? Although the graphic is incorrect because that's graphic is also delusional like Solskjaer, but we don't have the graphic anyway, so that doesn't matter. So yeah, this is the graphic. It has France as favorite, but the latest graphic shows England as the favorite, ties with France. So and Belgium is like fifth number, and Germany is above Belgium. I don't know what is happening. This is just complicated. Now. We have a list for the 20 now. As you know that Gareth Southgate decided to everybody knows that Gareth.
Now you know why I'm not a betting man, right? I don't understand these ratings at all.
Yeah, it's crazy, right? It's crazy. So before, Gareth has openly said he loves 23. He doesn't even like 26. Now, after saying he loves 23, he decides to come out with 33 because I think his math is probably problematic. It's like 20. Did I say 23? Did I say 33? And I have to please the media as well. Now, I need to see this. This is a total list. It feels like, a map of India or something, or map of Great Britain with all the counties. That's how many people are there right now. Now, do you reckon from this list that somebody missed out who actually deserves to be in the final 23? I don't know. I hope you're keeping 23 because 26 is too bullcrap for me because it creates a lot of confusion because it's like the players who are playing and then there's who is Kuldeep Yadav. When I say Kuldeep Yadav, I'm using him as a metaphor for somebody who always gets selected and never plays, and whenever he actually gets to play, people are literally questioning that is he even a cricketer? Is he even a human being? What is happening here? So I don't want Kuldeep Yadavs in the team. I want real players who are actually going to make it to the real team, actually going to contribute off the bench or howsoever in some way or the other. So yeah, first question is just if you feel somebody who deserves to be in this team, and there are a few people who missed out, notable exceptions like Patrick Bamford, Madison, Van Bissaka, Ings, Eric Dyer, Ross Barkley, James Madison, or did I say already James Madison? Yeah, and Tomori. So these are the few players.
Yeah. Before I go on to who missed out, I think great to be here. I was hiding like an ostrich for the last few days, depressing few days for a United fan. Coming back to the England squad, I think firstly, I agree with you. They are not favorites. Second, I think the problem with Southgate is not with his math. I think the problem with him is he doesn't know his best, 11 or best squad. Like look at Luis Enrique for Spain. Straight away 26, no nonsense. 26 is because
he gave 23, I think. If I'm not incorrect,
no,
sorry to interrupt.
So because of COVID, I think they've allowed 3 more players to be. They can travel with the squad as backups. So if you're allowed 26, fine, go ahead with 26. But the problem with Southgate is he doesn't know his best 11 or 15 or 20, and that's why this confusion. Second, he doesn't know his own. Apart from like the best 15 or 20 players, he doesn't know what type of system is he going to play. If you look at England matches, like sometimes there's back 3, back 4, diamond, 2 holding midfielders, 1 so they. I think to me, he doesn't have a set system. England don't have a personality where, I can say that, okay, this is how England is going to play. And that's part of the problem. The other thing to my mind is the fact that so many players are injured. Like Southgate doesn't really have an idea in terms of, players like Maguire, Calvin Phillips, Jordan Henderson. So what he is trying to do is buy some time, give these players as much time as possible before he makes a final list of 26. That could be the only sane, rational argument that I can make in his favor. because Maguire, like, I mean, sure, like these guys were involved in Premier League and other competitions till about a few days. I mean, 2 days ago. So I don't think Southgate has all the information from the clubs in terms of injury and things like that. So that's his only thing in his defense. Coming to who missed out, I think this is like an Indian wedding. Uh, like he's called everyone, as a part of the Bharat. But I mean, there are still few angry relatives who feel they've missed out. But yeah, to be very honest, two things. I think I really like Patrick Bamford. He's unlucky to have missed out. James Madison. I think both Madison and Bamford would be the top of my list. The third one I would say is Aaron Van Bissaka, but I don't feel too bad for him because like they already have 4 right backs. I mean, it's crazy the amount of talent or choices that England have for the right back position. So unfortunately, he's not in the top 2 or 3, in the pecking order. He's improved a lot over the last year at United, but I think I feel sad for him that he missed out. If he was playing at any other position, he might have had a chance. But right back is crazy competition. But yeah, so these would be my top 3, in terms of players who I think are unlucky to have missed out. All the other names you mentioned, Eric Dyer, Danny Ings, Dele Alli, Tomori, I mean, they're good players, but I think given this season that I've seen, domestic season, I don't think their form deserves a call to the England squad.
Also, it's a zero-sum game. So if you put Bamford, you got to take somebody out. They've been already in the team. That's what he was saying. So I agree. I'm fine with that. And I don't want you to answer this thing, but my question was that how the hell does he not know anything about Maguire? I mean, that guy was listed in the squad for the the final, and then that we lost. But he was listed in the squad to play. So he should have the information that can this guy play or not. So there should not be so much confusion that he believes to think he has no clue what is happening. And he's already 2 injured players, which we'll talk about. Let's talk about the goal. Jordan Pickford has anger management issues, but then everybody knows that he is Gareth Southgate's super gay crush, and there is no way Southgate will shut the gate on Jordan and definitely going to pick Pickford. Sorry about my wordplay. Unless you, Bharat, especially think that Ramsdale is the new Peter Schmeichel and he is your first choice, and Sam Johnstone is only there in the team because Nick Pope died, right? Oh, sorry, he got injured. So Pickford's going to play. Henderson's not going to play. Henderson's going to become the second guy. But what is your take on this thing? Who is going to be in the goal? And do you think somebody else is actually challenging this guy? He's got like a bloody face or something. Yeah, Pickford.
Yeah, see, I think Ramsdale was included only because it's a 33-man squad. I think when he reduces to 26, he's probably the first one to, get axed. The 7 players that Southgate has to drop, I think he'll be the first one. He will take 3 keepers in the squad, not 4. And I think given Pope's injury, I think these 3 are the best ones in terms of, choices. I would pick Henderson over Pickford, not because I'm a United fan. I just think his distribution and his command, in the back line is superb. The added advantage is when we come to the back line, he already plays with Shaw and Maguire, who would be my first picks in the playing 11. So he has that, chemistry, with 2 of the players. So I would pick Henderson over Pickford, but I think Southgate has a history of picking players who, like, he goes on, like, sentimental value. In the past, I think players who've played for him or performed for him in the past. So I would think he would start with Pickford, and unless he makes like some glaring errors or gets injured, I think Henderson would be on the bench. However, in my team, I think it would be the other way around.
Yeah, fair enough. I think there's no way Southgate is picking Henderson over this guy unless something really tragic happens. Like, if he just, makes a very massive mistake. And also the factor that Luke Shaw and all those players are playing and then you're looking at a combination. But Pickford is the obvious choice unless something dramatic happens. So let's move on to another question now. Let's move on to defenders. Everybody loves Chilwell. I know he's good, but I mean, he was just injured for months and everything. He's just returned recently. Frankly, I don't think this English defensive unit can win Euro. I just don't think it, and because defense is the most important, particularly in a big tournament, particularly in a very big match. And I also want to know what's your take on Trent. I don't want to say his full name. It's a tongue twister. I have a theory that if he plays, England's not going to win. But then if he doesn't play, England's not going to win anyway. So that doesn't matter. But I want to take your take first, and then I want to crush yours completely, mine. Not by any logic, but just shouting louder. Something you find too undignified to even try. But I don't have any dignity. So yeah. Let's start with the dignified comment. Then I'll shout.
Okay, in terms of defense, to me, it's not a bad defense that England has. I think there are problems in in other areas of the pitch that probably are bigger than their defensive problems. Simply because if Maguire is fit, then the central backs are like no-brainer, right? Stones and Maguire will partner, whoever, like Pickford or Henderson. But Stones and Maguire are set. Like those would be my first picks in the playing 11. On the left back, I mean, arguably, I don't think you can replace Shaw unless he gets injured or you want to freshen the team or something like that. So Shaw, Maguire, and Stones. These would be my three, out of the four. The fourth one, which is the right back position, as I said, there is a problem of plenty. There is Trent, there is Kyle Walker, there is Kieran Trippier, there is I forgot one more name, Reece James. Yeah,
who was it? James Cody. Okay.
Yeah. Cody would be a backup, so he would be in my squad in case something happens to Maguire or Stones. But on the right back, I think it's horses for courses. If you're playing against a big team, Germany, Belgium, France, Portugal, then I would go with Kyle Walker because I don't trust Trent enough defensively. If you're playing smaller teams, then I would throw in Trent. I mean, people can say whatever they want. I think he is one of the best attacking right backs probably in the world. I mean, his passing ability is amazing. And against the smaller teams, I think England can get away with it. Even though, his defense is not as good, England can get away with it. So it's horses for courses. I think Shaw, Maguire, Stones are set. The fourth one, the right back, I think depending on the team and the opposition, it would be between Kyle Walker and Trent.
All right, so why I was constantly talking about Trent is I think he's an amazing player. There is no doubt about that. But now he's a player who would work perfectly fine in, as they say, Hollywood FC or Bayern Munich, which just because they know if they screw up a couple of goals, they will score 5. Okay. Now, in a big tournament, as I think you were alluding to it, you don't say it directly, you said big team. But my point is that they don't have big teams for qualification to pre-quarterfinals. But after that, everything becomes a knockout match. And whenever the knockout matches start, pretty much if you take the lead, you're just going to block the hell out of it. Because if you see the track record for the Euros or World Cup, whosoever is winning, okay, last France won the World Cup, right? And Didier Deschamps is pragmatic as fuck. This guy is completely pragmatic. Even if you go till you go to the time when Brazil won, which was like forever, everybody's been pragmatic. And particularly in the final game, even after beating Brazil 7-1, Germany was very pragmatic in the final match. So people tend to become very pragmatic. And even if pre-quarterfinal you can get over it, it's still important. But the fact is the nerves are not as high. That's why traditionally England is always lost in quarterfinals because they never go forward. They give reasons, penalty, this and all that bullshit. When they went to semi-finals for the first time, they again got the nerves because they have not just come to this stage ever. And now my point is when Trent Alexander-Arnold comes in, I rather still have somebody who gives me a better defense than a better offense, because the moment he leak a goal, you're screwed. Another point is that if rest of the other 2 or 3 players that you will put in the defense were like superstars, okay, Kalani at his best, we don't have that. Maguire is everybody says Maguire is the best English defender. It's true, and that is telling because Maguire is not even that great. He's slow. Everybody knows that, right? And if Maguire is our best defender, that's a problem. And when Maguire is our best defender, that's the time we cannot have another defender who's going to leak goals. And then we're relying that maybe he will give all those passes. And people have completely forgotten that he screwed up his entire season for Liverpool when he was not able to do what he does best, and he was still leaking goals. So that is my theory. Sounded logical, but because I was shouting, it sounded more logical. And I would not play him in a crunch game, in a game pre-quarterfinals maximum. But then the point is that you answered this thing. Should we just have this lot for, like, he plays for this till the match is not super crucial, then Trippier comes in? Should we just have the players in place, whoever is going to play the knockout matches to start with?
Again, I mean, it depends, as I said. So against the so-called smaller teams in a big tournament, I would still play Trent. Against the tournament favorites or traditionally the big teams, I would play Kyle Walker. Those two would be ahead of someone like Trippier for sure. See, that's where Southgate's formation and playing system comes in, right? You know that a player has 5 positive attributes, but 2 of them need like covering from the rest of the 10 players. So depending on the system that he plays, when England have the ball and Trent is forward, someone has to fill that gap, right? So that's why it's a game of 11 players. So if he is forward and you know that he is not defensively the greatest guy, your central defensive midfielder has to come in and expand the back line, and that's how most teams play. So I think we can go on and on about right backs, but yeah.
So just answer this thing: is it possible? This is my theory, and I've actually also read some other people mooted this as well. Can he be moved to the midfield, Trent?
No. I mean, we'll talk about midfield. England have like problem of plenty in that area already. It's something that Southgate can do something like that tactically in the match when England are trailing, just to do something different when nothing is happening. But I don't think in a tournament like this he can just experiment something which they have not tried on the training ground day in day out.
Fair enough. I'll still stick to my point, because even if whosoever you play, because these players don't play day in day out, and Trippier doesn't even play in England. Okay, so if you're gonna play Trippier, I'd rather have him like fitted in from the start. Let's see what Southgate does. And for all we know, Trent doesn't even get selected in the top 26, 23, whatever that is, right? Now that we're talking, let's move on to the midfielders. Everybody loves Mason Mount. I am sick to death of it. Henderson hasn't played since 1997. Bellingham is 11 years old. Lingard is now a West Ham legend, and he only performs against minnows, so that is no good. Calvin Phillips is injured or not injured. Schrodinger's cat situation, I don't know. Nobody knows. James Ward-Prowse, please enlighten me how good this lad is. Declan Rice is surely good. I know you like him. I think he's solid. Mount is good, but my verdict against the same. I don't see this midfield giving anyone, even Scotland, any chills. What's your take on this? And Scotland, by the way, is in their group, right?
In the group, yeah. So I think before all these names, I think let's eliminate one who we definitely like and is going to start and stay in the squad is Declan Rice. So he will be your central defensive midfielder, guarding the defense when England have the ball. So that's set. Now coming to do you need 2 central defensive guys, or you need a backup on the bench in case something happens to Rice? Then my pick would be Calvin Phillips. You're right, Jordan Henderson has not played since probably February this year, and you can't carry someone in the team who's not played for 4 months, and you don't even know whether he's 100% fit again or not. So I would pick Calvin Phillips and Jordan Henderson to do the defensive or holding midfielder role. Coming to slightly forward thinking midfielders, I don't know about you, but I think Mount is a good player in my opinion.
I agree. I just don't think he's great. That's what everybody keeps saying.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing, right? who would you pick ahead of him, right? So
No, fair enough, fair enough, fair
yeah,
enough.
so
Yeah.
he's the best thing that is available to Southgate at this stage. So I would, be happy with Mount. Uh, Jesse Lingard is iffy. I know he played well in West Ham. I mean, he's a good squad player. If you ask me, like, he's this bubbly character. He's smiling. Sometimes in a big tournament, you need someone to take the pressure off. In the dressing room. So I wouldn't mind him having in the squad. I definitely don't think he's a starter. That's for sure. James Ward-Prowse, I think he's someone who Southgate picked only because of his, set piece and free kicks ability. But I don't think you can have someone in your team only for set pieces or free kicks. You can't like carry someone just because of that. So I don't think he deserves a place in the playing 11 for sure. In the squad also, I think there are better players than him. But I think Southgate's logic is, I mean, if I see it, I think he's a good player. I mean, good, you know, free kick specialist or set pieces. So that would be my only logic, why Southgate picked him in the squad. But I don't think
Fair
he
enough.
makes the cut.
Okay, did you talk about Bellingham or any opinion on Bellingham?
No, so I think Bellingham again. I think is someone for the future. I think he has to be the part of the squad to get the flavor of the tournament. Is he a first 11 starting player? No, but I think he's someone for the future and has to be in the squad.
All right, so they have taken care of the child labor laws because he's only 11, because it's just fair enough. All right, let's talk about the forwards. And this is the one I love their forwards. I think they generally got, as you said, there's like plenty of midfielders, but they're like good or okay, or somebody is injured. But when the forward line comes in, I'm really impressed. So in that way, I do take your point of Kieran Trippier, but they'll have to take too much chances. I think Southgate is a bit more practical. All right, so now let's look at this thing. I personally think that Southgate needs to have enough balls to drop Rashford, because for me, Rashford is not a forward, he's a runner, and there is a difference. People need to understand this thing. And please take a punt on Greenwood. I know I think Greenwood has not been proven, but there is something about Greenwood because and by dexterity that he kicks from both feet. There is something to it, and he does not take a lot of time on follow through. He just kicks in. A single goal at the crunch situation can completely like change the outcome, and suddenly England is the semi-final or final. Now that's my opinion. And what is your take on who are your best men among these 9.5 men that we have here? I'll not say who I'm calling half, because
So
that
good
will be,
thing.
I can get sued. Yeah.
Good thing is that the central striker position is sealed, done and dusted. Harry Kane, no question, among the world's elite strikers. So no questions about that. Now again, like coming to other players apart from Kane, it depends on what kind of system Southgate plays. Is it like two number eights or wingers? It depends. So if I would be Southgate, I think I would play with two wide men, two wingers. On the right, I think there's no better than Jadon Sancho at this moment. So Sancho is someone who will create chances for Harry Kane. He will deliver crosses in the ball. I mean, in the box, and Harry Kane. I mean, if I was a striker, I would love to have Sancho in my team. So I think on the right side, it has to be Sancho. On the left, I agree. I know Marcus Rashford, like going by his performances in the last few weeks, he's an iffy starter. But I would still, start the tournament with him. Try and build his confidence and see if he comes back to his best. If not, England have more than enough backup. Sterling can easily, actually, Sterling competes with Rashford on the left flank. However, Sterling is so versatile that when he plays on the right, he's probably, scored more goals and given more assists on the right. So, which is just crazy. So I think because Sancho is so good on the right, it's unfair to drop Sancho and pick Sterling there. So to me, Sterling and Rashford compete for that, attacking winger position on the left.
You have to go with
I
Sterling,
would,
even if Sterling is struggling. I know, but no, I have no faith in Rashford, to be very honest. And both of us know that he's not a number 9. He chokes in front of the goal, and recently he's been choking even further. So if he goes to his best, which is just choking, that's not good enough for me. That's my point on that. Because right now it's just, and he can say all the shit that he said about after the Euro final loss, I keep saying Europa League final loss. He's saying we're going to come back stronger because you were the moron who could not score an open goal, and this is not the first time. It happens over and over again. So anyway, so sorry about that.
Coming back to your point, I think Greenwood, absolutely yes. In the last 10 minutes, if you have to change the game, he would be the first one I would substitute. He's an unknown commodity, at least
that helps, right?
Yeah. On the international stage. Defenders won't know. Like I'm sure nowadays with videos and things like that, people can analyze. But I think he's
but both feet. You can't analyze it. You just don't know what the hell is going to do. Yeah.
Correct. So it will be difficult for defenders to make him go inside or outside. And as you said, he has barely any backlift, right? He just shoots.
Yeah.
And so amazing talent. Someone who will be in the England squad for years to come. I would definitely have him on the bench. He can't start. And the other name that we didn't discuss here is Phil Foden. How good is that guy?
I didn't discuss it because it's a shoe-in, right? So that's what I'm just surprised that after all these amazing players, you still want Rashford to come through. It will just make England weaker because this is the forward line we have amazing. Phil Foden is unbelievably good.
Yeah, so I think
he has to perform. He has to perform.
No, I mean England like in 2004 probably had the best squad. You had like Gerrard, Scholes, I mean so many greats of the game, Beckham, So England always had this problem of they had these amazing stars. Let's just throw all of them on the pitch and they'll do the magic. That's not how football works, especially in big tournaments. You need to have a system. You need to have, a person filling in a particular position on the pitch, not because he's a superstar. And that's why, I would still pick Rashford for, not as a number 9, but someone who does a particular job on the pitch. And Foden and Greenwood coming on off the bench to do their magic. And so it's not about who are your best 11 and throw them on the pitch. It's who are your best 11 for the type of system you're playing.
All right, fair enough. I don't agree with that, but fair enough with the Rashford part. Let's just see your formation, not Southgate inspired, but however you want to play. And I know you have a couple of players. I don't want them, but that's the way it is. We agree to disagree. I mean, I don't, but that's what they say. So it just sounds nice. So if we can have the squad that you have selected, first the starting 11. So you have Henderson, which is, I'm okay with that. I don't particularly I don't disagree or agree. Luke Shaw left back. You go on. Sorry, explain please.
Yeah, so I mean, as I said, Luke Shaw, Maguire, Stones, like these three are a sure shot. Right back, I would start with Walker. Central defensive midfielder would be Declan Rice. I would go with Grealish and Mount as it would be like a diamond with Grealish and Mount base of the diamond pulling the strings. Rashford on the left, Sancho on the right, and Kane up top. So
okay, I want to see that graphic. Yeah.
So this would be my starting level.
So you still have Rashford and the whole diamond thing is there. Fine. I would personally probably want either Greenwood or Foden to start. Over Rashford.
Just one more thing. I think if Maguire is not fit, then this whole system goes for a toss because then Southgate will play with the back 3. Then he will play with the back 3, and then you will have Stones, Walker, and probably Cody or even Reece James because he's played in a back 3 for Chelsea this season. So then the whole shape and everything might change. But yeah, so this would
go on.
Yeah, so this would be my bench and backup for each position. in case something happens to the first 11 or someone is out of form. So this would be my backup first, and this would be my backup. This is my bench. This would be the backup. Yeah. So let's look at the bench first. As you can see, I have like tried and covered at. See now, no matter what 23 or 26 Southgate picks, there will be people who will be disappointed because it's such a talented squad, especially attacking wise, that it's almost impossible to please everyone. And so, you know,
I want to see a bench which is it makes sense to me. This is just like, it seems another squad right there. I mean, can you
Yeah,
just
so-
like get rid of the frills and just talk like real numbers? Who are your real, like apart from Pickford or like one goalkeeper, fine, but give me like 5 or 6 names that you definitely feel can contribute, because you know that Foden you already said, Greenwood you already said. Who else is there?
Yeah, so I would have, if Rashford is starting, then Sterling on the bench. If Sterling is starting, then Rashford on the bench. Foden stroke Greenwood, depending on how many players. I mean, if you're asking me only 5 or 7, then I would have one of them. Probably
Greenwood is not even here. Yep.
Yeah,
I can't see him. Yeah.
yeah. So you would have to have two defenders on the bench. I would have Connor Cody, Ben Chilwell on the bench, Calvin Phillips if something happens to Rice or if he's on a yellow card, Foden stroke Greenwood, Sterling, and a striker in the form of Calvert-Lewin.
All right. And what's the backup?
Yeah, so these would be the squad players. Like, I mean, because you're picking 26, because you're playing 26, you need to have a few more players. So my final 26 or 23 would be, outside of, would be a part of this.
Trippier.
But yeah.
This is just too much. You know what you're doing with Trippier? This is exactly same thing that Ronald Koeman did to Luis Suarez. And then once Trippier wins the the Euro for England, he will be lying down on the pitch and FaceTiming his family and then talking shit about you, that how you put him in the squad team and you are the one who doesn't know anything.
By the way, he doesn't make it in my 26.
He just won the freaking La Liga. You don't give a shit about Trippier. See, you just hate him because he didn't tell you about the betting thing. That's why you hate him. He didn't tell you. He didn't give you the. He didn't cue you in so you can make 200 quick pounds.
I don't hate him. I think England have too many good players at the position that he plays. As I said, Kyle Walker, Trent Alexander-Arnold, Reece James. These three would be ahead. I mean, you can't carry 4 right backs in a squad, right? You can't. You absolutely can't carry 4 players of like in the same position. So unless Southgate has something other in it, something else in his mind to play Alexander-Arnold in the midfield or Trippier somewhere else, I don't see him making the cut. I understand it will be harsh on him. He's won the La Liga. He played relatively well. But unfortunately, it is what it is. How do you cull down the squad, right? So he's one of the unfortunate few who miss out in my squad. We've not even talked about Bukayo Saka. I would rate him like, along the lines with Foden and Greenwood as someone for the future.
Next time in the World Cup, which is happening next year anyway, so it doesn't matter. He should be fine.
That's the problem, right? You can't carry the whole,
you can't put everybody. It doesn't work.
Yeah.
It doesn't work.
So
also, he's from Arsenal and nobody else is there from Arsenal. So people are like, oh, you're from Arsenal, so you're out. Now,
you're being inclusive.
As you know, our director who constantly keeps getting beaten by his toddler daughter, and that's why he's never on the camera. So he's directing his canon. I think he's already like given up completely. He'll be directing. He's a big betting man. He wants to bet. He's been listening to all the wrong people. He's been putting all his money. He's been putting his Jaidad, and he thinks like this is like Mahabharat. So he want to do Draupadi as well. I'm telling him, don't do that for England. This will backfire. It will not be good. Can you please tell us how far England will go and who should we put our good money, very unearned money on, and what are we looking at? Is it again going to be France? Please don't say France.
I don't know. I would have to talk to Kieran Trippier if he has any inside tips for me.
He's not going to tell you now. He's not. He's going to talk. He's only going to tell his mates.
Yeah.
not
So I
not a
think
traitor in Toronto. Yeah.
in all fairness, I think if England make it to the semis, it's going to be a big achievement. I don't think
You
England will
already
go.
think it's a big achievement. They're going to be doing the quarter again, according to
Yeah,
you.
I don't think they will go beyond the quarters, because look at the teams that they are possibly, most likely to face. It'll be either Germany, Portugal, or Spain or France. I mean, I don't see England beating any of those four
So
teams.
that's what they're saying. People are not. They're not even going to get through the pre-quarterfinals. It's going to be that
Yeah.
bad.
Yeah, so I
So
don't think England will go beyond the quarters. If they go beyond that, it's a big achievement. And kudos to Southgate and the
who do you think in
squad.
the semi-final lineup for last four? Like final word, like
Uh,
not imaginary. Don't have to put England.
yeah, I would say this is Belgium's last chance for the golden generation of Belgian footballers to do anything on the world stage. It's like it reminds me of the England's golden generation and how they underachieved at the international stage. So I would still pick them to make it to the semis. Germany are always good at international tournaments. Come what may, like they always show up in big tournaments. So I would pick Germany as alongside Belgium to make it to the four. France to me are the favorites. I would agree with the betting man there that France would be one of the
Just
favorites
just
to
give the
win it.
four. Give the four. Yeah.
Fourth one is little tricky. I would want to say it would be between Portugal and Spain. I don't know. I can't pick between the two. So it would be either one of those two.
Portugal. At least somebody's still talking about Portugal. So Ronaldo is very happy. He thinks he's the best player still, and he'll be best player even in the next 3 World Cups, because we won't be surprised. He'll still be on the bench. He'll be like, I am still here. So,
Yeah.
all right, that was another good one. We disagreed on a lot of things. I do not particularly want your squad, particularly with Trippier and how you still love Rashford. Honestly, I love Rashford. He's an amazing player, but off field, where he does all the charities, he should stick to it. Now, let's see what happens. It's starting very soon. We'll be having another podcast, whoever is listening, on next week, right before the Euro starts, and we're predicting who will eventually win. By the time, we'll have a proper England squad as well, and maybe things will be a little bit more clear, and we will discuss actually why we're picking France, Portugal. You didn't pick Germany, right? I think you picked France,
I
Portugal.
did pick. My final four would be Belgium, Germany, France,
Oh,
and
you picked
Portugal
Germany.
stroke
I love
Spain.
Germany. I have soft spot, like you have for Rashford. I have soft spot for Germany. All right. On that note, thanks again, Bhargav. And just to let everybody know, Bikram has already put all his money on Germany. I am telling him don't do it, but he doesn't listen. That's the way. He's a big betting man. All right. Take care. Hopefully,
All
you
right.
guys are watching the Euro. And thanks, Bhargav. You take care.
Thank you, guys.
Have a good
See
evening.
you soon.
Have a good
Bye.
weekend. Bye bye. Bye bye.